Game 6 Poggers. I think that is a pretty adequate name for this game because we are all tied up once again in the series. We are going the distance, and in between the games we talked about, we wanted to see Cincinnati Fear get some more agency on the map, more control, more ways to peel for their big carries, and they were able to do it, Veteran.
Yeah. I mean, definitely, it's not the Yuumi on bot lane this time. It's not an Enchanter like the Lulu on the other side this time. It is a Leona, provides excessive peel for them. They have the Gangplank, so they can play down towards that as well. Yona with the Sunfire build can cause a lot of distraction around the Jinx, and the Talia herself with her walls and with her E, she's able to create zones of control for the Jinx as well. This is a team that wants to funnel into Sketch, feed into Sketch, make life as easy for Sketch as possible, rather than rely on Sketch to have almost inhuman levels of positioning, particularly at this level. So I really like the direction they took this draft. I hope they do that again the next game. We're still seeing these kind of all-in reset-based champions that can make comebacks to the Jinx, but here they were able to get ahead early. And yeah, like I really like the direction this draft took. I hope they do it again next game.
Yeah, for sure. It definitely were a lot more ways to enable Sketch. And he ended up being a huge carry in this game. Of course, Dragoon was the one that really got a lot of the kills, a lot of damage done later on. But at least for a good portion of the game, it did feel like it was so much on Sketch's ability to carry sort of the earlier mid-game team fights. And it did all start with a pretty crazy sequence of events, Lux.
Yeah, let's go over this this replay that I think we have a replay coming in soon.
Yeah, it'll play in just a second. There it is.
There we go.
We got
Okay.
it.
Looks really good for Taco Gaming here at the beginning. Get a few picks here, but the Jinx is getting a lot of DPS off. They kind of looking for the dive here on Jinx. They do have a lot of numbers, but they make a mistake of backing here where they've got a ward. There's a ward in this bush. So they can see him. And this is kind of the turning point of the game because Jinx gets so much gold here. I think this is a quadra kill? No, triple kill?
3 kills.
Yeah.
But also the
kills for
shutdown.
Jinx.
One of those was 450.
Yeah. It was almost a quadra kill, but it was a triple kill for Jinx. And honestly, I think that was kind of the pivotal point where Jinx became just massive and started taking over the game.
Yeah, and really did start taking over the game. And even though Taco was able to win a few fights, it was only off of the back of the times they were able to kill Sketch. But the problem for them came is even though they were able to win a few fights, the rest of Cincinnati Fear's composition was just scaling up alongside of Sketch and just catching up and getting those items. There was the Gangplank, there was the Yone, there was the Talia, and even though, like, you know, we were saying Trickster had kind of a rough early game, was able to have such massive impact later on once those item spikes came through. And Veteran, we can see, you know, Taco, they're trying to leverage their advantage later on by starting the Baron, but it doesn't go the way they want it to.
No, and I mean, it's questionable if with Jinx this far ahead that you have that much of an advantage at all. And like here, they do go onto Sketch, but Sketch is able to get a lot of DPS down. Blase, Trickster, they all fall back towards Sketch there to enable him, and therefore Sketch is untouched. TG have no way to close the gap on him now, try as they might, and so Sketch is able to clean up. But look, it's a team effort to get Sketch. I say Sketch's name a lot because the game pivots around him, but it's everyone else falling back, seeing he's in danger, realizing, okay, this is not a dive play anymore, this is a save play. Yona's not eating into the backline, not trying to destroy the enemy backline. He knows he wins as his own backline is safe, so he moves back, everyone does, and that's how they're able to win that fight. Team effort around one person, but team effort nonetheless.
And it feels like that sort of good coordination, that team effort really did start to shine once Cincinnati Fear started to get that lead, right? It feels like when the game's a little bit rocky, it actually does, you know, they're maybe not all on the same page, but once they find a window into the game, it feels like they're so decisive at being able to take that. But now, game number 3 is coming up. We all predicted Cincinnati Fear to have won the series by now, and that most certainly did not happen after that game number 1. I'm curious, Lux, I will go to you first. Are we going to stick with our Cincinnati Fear predictions, and why? Based on how the series has played out.
I'm going to stick with it. I feel like in game 2, they feel a little more comfortable and kind of know what they want to play here in game 3. And I think they're going to stick with this style of like kind of feeling for a hyper carry on Sketch and then have Dragoon kind of do his own thing, since he obviously has got like the alpha Chad vibes in the top lane, and he's just gonna do his own carry, and then they'll stick with peeling for Sketch. So I'm gonna stick with my choice.
And veteran.
I'm gonna stick with it. Look. So Lux was saying earlier, all right, that if she's wrong, it's not her
Right,
job.
yeah.
Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But it is my job, Hawk. And you know what that means when it's my job? That means that I can sit here, be wrong, and I'm gonna get paid anyway. So I'm gonna go out with flying colours, get that bank, and go all the way. Sketch is gonna carry this in the last game. It's gonna be a team effort, but they're gonna take it. Taco Gamer are in the dumps, and if I'm wrong, guess what? I'll cry into my money and sleep.
You know what? Fair enough. I can't argue with that logic. Two different approaches, but you know what? I'll stick with you guys as well. It feels like as long as Cincinnati Fear does not get run over in the early game, they will be able to bring it back in the team fight phase. We've seen both win in game number 1 and game number 2, but I feel like a lot of times when that's the case, sometimes it's easy to get that one win in the early game, but then you get figured out a little bit. So I think it's up to Taco Gaming to not be figured out, to try to make things happen. But before we send it off to this third game, guys, any final thoughts? Veteran, you first.
Good luck. Put the fear of God into them.
All right. Fear. You know what? Yeah, the fear of God. Lux, what about you?
I honestly can't follow that up.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Well,
That's it right there.
Grapes and Smacks, we will leave you with Cincinnati Fear going to be trying to put the fear of God into Taco. We'll see if it's able to happen. But what a slate of games we've had today. Stay tuned for the last one.
Thank you very much. Smacks? Hello?
I'm scared.
The fear. It's the fear. It's trembling.
I'm afraid. I'm afraid, Graves.
Veteran is scaring us all. The fear of
I'm gonna
God
keep
is upon
hiding,
us.
don't mind.
I mean, he's gonna take a little bit of time, recompose himself a little bit. But it seems like the desk all pretty confident about Cincinnati Fear maybe turning this series back around. I don't know. I think we got maybe Smacks is not. I don't know where he. We still got one more game.
I'm
Smacks.
still scared, Grapes.
We got.
Can you hold my hand?
Hold on. Let me.
Okay. I've got it.
Whoa! Wait.
All right. I'll come back and sit back.
We're all. It's all gonna be okay, Smacks. It's all gonna be okay. The fear.
Why did you let go?
Are only coming through. The only people that have to worry about the fear is Taco Gaming right now. We're here. We're predicting right. We got our diamond hands holding true maybe to our predictions.
Yes.
And that's where we're gonna stand right now. Deep press. Let's get into game number 3. Lots of exciting stuff. The sides have been swapped. So Taco Gaming this time will be on the red side of the map, which opens up for a lot of really interesting assets as we head to the draft.
Super excited. I want to see what's going on here as Taco Gaming. Like you said, they had side selection. They picked to go over to the red team. It means they probably have some cool counter picks to go for. And also means they're not too concerned with getting their junglers banned away, because that's what happened already on the red team. Now that Fear are going over to blue, they really have no incentive to change up their bans at all, unless they want to pick the champions for themselves, which I guess could happen.
A lot of really flexible players on both of these teams. It's something that we keep reiterating over and over again throughout this series, whether, of course, it's Citywitty on a bunch of different flexible champions, Shochi being a seemingly Swiss Army knife on the side of Taco Gaming, or on the other side, of course, when you're thinking about Blaze, about Dragoon, even Sketch, you can play a whole lot of marksmen and seem to succeed on any single one of them. So the draft is always a really interesting spot, especially when you have teams that are this flexible.
And hey, maybe Sketch is a Draven player after all. Maybe they don't have to ban that one now that Cincinnati Fear are on the blue side. We'll find out. As, yeah, this draft is super, super curious. The same thing happened in the last series also, where the last game was a side swap and ended in the reverse sweep. Getting a little bit of deja vu here, Grace. Cincinnati Fear win this game, then I feel like we are in a time loop.
Just over and over again. Every single series. I remember last split, whenever we casted, it was always like 2-0 stomps for both of the teams. But this time we're getting the full juice in there. They're kind of paying us back for all of the not boring games, but rather one-sided series that we saw in the previous years. And I think it goes to show how competitive a lot of these teams are here for the amateur space. Proving Grounds coming up. All of these teams in the quarterfinals have locked their spot. And you can see how close it is between a lot of these teams, which means that we might be in for a pretty explosive Proving Grounds in just a week or so.
I hope so. I hope that all of these games being really close means that we're going to have really close games in his academy too. Because, Grapes, sometimes...
Or it's just complete stomps all
like
the way.
historically, when it comes to like Worlds and stuff, NA's got like all these close games with each other. You don't know who's going to be the best team. Is it 100 Thieves, Evil Geniuses, Team Liquid, Cloud9? You don't know. And then you go to Worlds, and we're just worse than everybody. And
we're all equally, very closely not as good.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Might be the same.
I'm worried that's going to happen in Proving Grounds. But, you know what? Maybe it's all going to be all right. Maybe our friends over here in Amateur can get some games in, and maybe get some series in, like we did last time.
Just took one, or I think two of them. And
series, yeah.
One of them was on the side of Taco Gaming. They took down Evil Geniuses Academy, knocked them out of the entirety of Proving Grounds at a pretty early spot. I believe actually because of that EGP. Yeah. Only Star Guardian Robex remains. He's the one that's holding true, defending the line here for Taco Gaming. And Trickster on the other team, yes.
Trickster was there.
He was there. I think it's a bit of a interesting story. Of course, Fear, a large portion of that team came from No Team, who defeated Taco Gaming in the PGCQ #2 finals in Spring Split. So a lot of history between either these orgs and these players, or whatever you want to call them. It just goes to show how exciting and how evenly matched these teams really seem to be.
Even though Cincinnati Fear was heavily favored going into the day, we now sit at a Game 3 where it is match point for both of these teams. And while Cincinnati Fear is already locked for top 6, winning this series would do a lot for them to keep the points afloat and keep themselves in that conversation for like top 3, which is around where they are right now, battling it out with AoE Esports and 100 Thieves Next, who very well could be the opponents that they play against further on in this bracket if Cincinnati Fear do continue on and they win this series. I know for certain that they'll be playing against AoE Esports, whoever wins this series, on Monday. So something to think about here as Cincinnati Fear do go with the exact same 3 bans.
Guess it doesn't matter what side. Fear just don't want to see those 3 champions whatsoever. I think Trickster plays a pretty good Kindred as well, but I guess that's not really something that they want City Witty on at all. So just opting to take those picks away is going to be important. What is really important though, Smacks, is Talia taken off the board for the first time after being on the winning team in both of the games, which means we're going to see something a bit different here. We're talking about farming for City Witty. Trickster has a very good response in the Udyr.
Our rage is beyond your control, Grapes. Udyr is here, and I'm excited.
Love this.
I love Udyr. He's so fun. He runs around, he slaps everybody. He's got his auto attacks. He goes for the lethal tempo. I cannot wait to see Trickster piloting this champion. And yes, we have Trundle. This jungle matchup is so hype. Everyone's auto attacking. This is what jungle's all about.
Yeah, just like hitting people. No abilities are necessary. Just hitting people. Yes,
exactly.
What we're looking at right now here for these
two
true
junglers.
I will say, very interesting that, of course, City Witty on a Trundle instead of a lot of the farming pickups that he was on in previous games. He was on, of course, the Kindred in game #1, the Viego in game #2, and now opting for a bit of an early game focus. And we're seeing that kind of double down here as Shochi walking in a blind Silas here on the first rotation.
Yeah, City Witty, again, like you just said, going on to a jungler that isn't really known for farming, and we saw what happened in the last game where that was the case. He did have a pretty solid Viego performance, but it just wasn't quite the late game carry threat that we usually see from City Witty. So maybe history repeats itself again. Maybe City Witty should just be playing that style of champion, but I do know that he is very skilled at this Trundle as well. I remember in his Link days as well, he played a whole lot of Trundle on those teams that he was on in the last year, and yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he just completely comes through and stomps, even though it's not a farming jungler.
So nice response into the Udyr, but the other two champions, we see some deviations in how these teams like to play. Fear opting for a ton of range with the Zeri and the Azir lock-ins. And on the other side, Taco Gaming with the solo laners that they have selected, going for a lot of engage, a lot of team fight capability here, which kind of opens up a deviation in playstyles between these two teams in what could be a very exciting decisive game.
Grapes, what is your usual reaction as an AD carry, if you ever play AD carry, to being hit by a Trundle pillar?
I want to flash away, go to the other, get as far away as possible, right? Jump away,
That's
flash
reasonable.
away, whatever it is, yeah.
That makes sense. Now, I'll tell you, Zeri's reaction to a pillar being in front of her face is, yay! I get to shoot my W through that and kill
Oh.
everyone.
True.
Yeah, it's
a lot of
very,
interaction
very
with the
good.
walls.
Yeah, so you can do that with Trundle. You can also do it with Ornn Pillar. It's really small, but you can do it. And it's really fun. And it gives Sketch some extra options to play with if Citywitty is not careful with where he does decide to place that pillar. So I do really like the Zeri response into the Trundle. I don't know if that's exactly what Sketch's thought process was. He's probably just like, oh yeah, Zeri's really good. Just pick me Zeri,
Yeah.
whatever.
And I like the
it is an
response
added
from
bonus.
Fear. Fear have a good response as well after locking in that Zeri. They banned away the two picks that I know you, Smacks, were mentioning as being good answers into the Zeri. Whether it was the Twitch that we saw earlier or the Senna that you were maybe hoping to see a little bit earlier. These are two really strong picks into this matchup, and it looks like none of them are going to be in Gorika's hands this time around.
Interesting that Sketch isn't too concerned with Gorika picking the Aphelios again, as he did go for that one
Ooh.
2 games in a row, but wow, okay. So he's just avoiding Aphelios as well. It's going on to the Varus. Okay, is it possible for us to pull up a Wolverine tweet on the screen?
Yep.
Because if you go to Wolverine's Twitter,
Oh,
he has a
I saw
tweet
this. I
about
saw this.
Varus. He says Varus is very underrated and should be picked.
Wait. You know what else should be picked a little bit more, Smack? See that? See that down there? Yeah. It's Darius. It's Darius here. Lagoon
Beautiful.
has come to
Majestic.
smash. You can pull up the little graphic again. Be a bit scary here for the likes of Taco Gaming, as Dragoon has thrown down his trap card, locking in that Darius, trying to take Lawrence out of the game before it can even begin. Locks on another nice
Yeah.
engage tool as well in the Leona.
I have a feeling that at some point in this stream, we are going to be seeing the Dragoon Smash album art again. I have an inkling here. I don't know what it is, but I feel like it's going to happen as we get Rovex locking in the Nautilus. Very tank-focused bottom lane. Varus Nautilus feels like a lane that's like ripped straight out of last year, which is absolutely hilarious.
The response to Zeri is two champions that are a little bit older, I think. No Star Guardians onto Rovex this time around, on a bit of a beefier boy, to say the least, on the Nautilus. But a very interesting deviation in the series and kind of throughout Proving Ground as a whole. You know, Enchanters have really been the mainstay in the meta for such a long time, but it seems like at this point, Smack, Taco Gaming specifically, is really resolving back to what a lot of teams were doing previously, with really heavy engage, things like this Nautilus and the Gnar, to try and take down the likes of Fear.
There is one thing that I really like about this draft from Cincinnati Fear, and that is when they saw the Shochi picked Sylas, they didn't really give him good ultimates to work with. You have the Leona ultimate, which is like fine. He doesn't really get anything from Udyr or Zeri ultimates, like at all. There's an Azir ultimate, which is like situational, and then I don't really feel like Ares ultimate does anything if you don't have the bleed stacks, right? It like does no damage.
Yeah.
So
I agree. I would agree on that. I think it's really nicely done by the side of Fear. That's kind of the prototypical response for responding to a very early Sylas pick. And they seem to have done that, as well as, you know, formulating a pretty solid composition all around as well.
All right. Well, let's see what Shochi's able to do. I've been pretty impressed with Shochi's play overall in these last couple of games. The Talia and the Lissandra both had some really solid moments from him. So my hopes are high for this Sylas, even though the ultimate options aren't necessarily top tier. I'm sure somewhere out there someone has made a Sylas ultimate tier list. If not, Rhyme, if you're listening, you should get on that for sure.
True. Free content, free impressions.
Yeah, you're welcome. If he doesn't do it, I'm going to do it myself. And then I'm going to ping him and be like, thoughts? And it's going to be an impression farm for me. So he should definitely take that idea while I'm casting.
Either it's really good and he like praises you for it, or it's really good, or it's really bad and then he roasts you for it, and then you get the impressions nonetheless. Shout out Cubby. Speaking of which, as we head on to the Rift for game number 3 between Cincinnati Fear and Taco Gaming. One more matchup in the quarterfinals, one more matchup to determine our top 6 as we head to Proving Grounds next week.
I'm still reeling over the Cubby shout out there. Anyway, yeah, this is a huge game. Game 6 on the day, on the stream. Taco Gaming trying to deny the reverse sweep and have a really big upset, all things considered, if they're able to do this. Today, sweeping through, giving the extra experience and gold over to their AD carry, and not bothered by it at all. Continuing forward and attacking this red buff, even dodging the Zeri auto attacks. Wow.
Seems to be even on the Trundle. City Witty likes to go for the invades, likes to try and get that CS advantage over Trickster on the Udyr, and really good start for him, especially considering the nature of both of these champions. Udyr, of course, loves to eat up those camps, and City Witty already taking one away from him and maybe looking for a bit more. Rovek's going to come in with the dredge line, locking down Flux. City Witty unlocks the pillar, going to force the flash out of the Leona to start things off.
Flash and heal gives a lot of pressure over to Taco Gaming's bottom lane side here. They don't have to worry nearly as much about the Leona level 2 spike or any play after that either. Flux didn't even take the Hex Flash in this game, which you normally do see on Leona, so absolutely no mobility options without the Zenith Blade here. Really big play from City Witty. It's just going to be unfortunate now that he has his entire top side cleared away by the fastest jungler in the Wild West.
Are you talking about City Witty because of like all the invades, or is it, oh, he's going for an invade himself actually on the other side of the map. So we're going to be vertical jungling here, and with the level 2s unlocked, Gorica and Rovex already forcing 3 summoner spells out of the Cincinnati Fear bot lane. Sketch and Flux in for a world of hurt.
Yeah, that one Trundle gank is already doing so much work. I was talking about the Udyr, as you can see him clearing out all of those camps up on the top side, but City Witty making a return to the bottom lane. I do not think he was spotted, and he will take some Krugs of his own if he wants them. Big bottom lane wave, though. This should be a clean dive.
This will be big for Taco Gaming if they can pick it up. Rovex has both summoner spells. City Witty going to go for the lockdown in onto Sketch, and that is first blood picked up for Taco Gaming. Is the response as one falls. Gorica remains alive to make it an advantageous trade for TG.
Good work from Taco Gaming. City Witty making 2 successful ganks in the bottom lane in a row in just the first couple of minutes of the game. Beautiful stuff. And we think of this guy mainly as a farming jungler, but that was so calculated. That was so well done. You can see how multifaceted this guy is. Even if he might be the best farming jungler that we have, he still has these other angles that he can take.
Really nicely coordinated with the bot lane as they're continuing to make stuff happen here. Flux is going to get locked up here. City Witty continuing to go aggressive. Trickster has a level advantage, but the pillar is doing so much work in blocking Trickster out from the fight. Flux is going to go down before any single autos can land with the Phoenix Dance. Sketch only level 2 and won't be able to do a whole lot. Finally, Trickster falls, and Sketch is the next target as well. Blaze going to try to turn the fight around, but the damage is too much. City Witty is just too big.
They're too good in the early game here, Grapes. 3-0-3 in 4.5 minutes. Give us the thumbs up there, City Witty. I cannot believe how well these early game plays are going. All the crowd control on top of Flux again, who does not have flash. They're killing him for a second time on the flash timer. And they have a Sylas here. So these team fights, these skirmishes, they can take however long they want. They have so much healing with Sylas and with Trundle also. And the lethal tempo from the Trundle is fully stacked the entire time. The only unfortunate thing is that they didn't communicate the flashes and they both did it at the end, but everything else was beautiful. And look at the Trundle gold in this game. Oh my god.
Twice the amount of Sketch. Shochi also has 6 Darksteel stacks at 5 minutes.
Oh my!
Might be a record if
he has more Darksteel stacks than minutes in the game.
Not going to be able to pick up anything here, but Taco Gaming just continuing the aggression. Trickster is doing a good job farming, but City Witty is just too aggressive, picking up so much in the invades. Finally, will be able to keep Trickster alive, but it is continuing to be more pressure given by Taco Gaming. They're up 2,500 gold, less than 6 minutes in.
Oh my god. It is possible to survive a Trundle exchange. It's a miracle as Trickster actually does manage to live. He's actually up a level on City Witty, which is hilarious considering the amount of gold that City has. But it makes sense because of Udyr's farming.
It looks like I'm going to get a bit of trade here in the bottom side as well. Gorka will get stunned up, but a nice cleanse. Barely getting stunned up for any moments here. Plux going forward, but it is not enough damage to take down Gorka. The Ignite will finally burn him down, but City Witty in for a nice return in the 1-for-1.
What is Rovex doing over in the mid lane? Just bullying Blaze. Uh-oh. No way.
Here, Shochi going to lock down Blaze. It will be the trade, though. Another 1-for-1 in the mid lane.
This game is getting so insane, so fast, Grapes. Diving the mid laner at 6 minutes with just 2 people as Shochi hits level 6 first and is able to get the scoop, denying all of these minions also as... This Rovex play is not endorsed by Smacks.
He's gonna run. Has cooldown again on the dredge line, getting himself out just in time. Don't know what was he doing there.
Okay, so what he was doing was he was trying to delay the minion wave underneath the turret and get a second minion wave stacked underneath it so that Blaze was trapped under the turret for even longer. However, there was a jungler there, so he doesn't get to do that. Luckily, he gets to live. I think only Nautilus is allowed to live there. Maybe Pike. But, yeah, you know, he knows the limits of the champion. If that works, Blaze's game is entirely over. So I like the idea.
It's a good attempt, and it doesn't end up costing all too much. Rovex still has that flash available, and City Witty going to pick up a dragon with all the pressure that he has generated for himself in this game. Taco Gaming up 3,000 gold at this point, and they're looking to just continue to add things on. As maybe a response from Fear is in the works.
This is the part of the game where you're playing Trundle and you start to think to yourself, like, do I go full damage? Can I do that?
Could.
Oh, wait.
Ooh.
This could be a really devastating
They're walking pretty far forward
he's
here.
on vision.
Trickster and Plux are going to go forward. There's the flash Zenith Blade. Gorka going to get locked down. Has no summoner spell, so we'll have to just fight this one out. Try to get a trade, but the autos will finally land. Rovex has to flash away, but Sketch is going to land the snipe with the laser. Finally, Trickster with the Tiger stance finishes off the 2-for-0.
Ooh, that was very clever from Cincinnati Fear. And for Taco Gaming, that was really the only possible way they could start to lose that advantage that they've been building up in this bottom lane. So really big props to Cincinnati Fear. I really like that play again for Trickster and Plux. They have all this crowd control with nowhere to put it because they're down so far unless they find the angles like that. Very inventive from Fear, trying to keep themselves still afloat in this game. Another thing I want to point out, it's going to be an AP Varus game.
Nash's Tooth coming in. I wouldn't say it's entirely necessary because there is the Silas for Shochi on this team, but nice to maybe provide a little bit of extra late game scaling out of this Varus pickup. You know, a lot of the time you think of the lethality, which could end up falling off, especially with the likes of the scaling that you have to offer. So giving yourself a little bit of late game insurance, always a good thing. As it will be the Rift Herald again secured for Taco Gaming. They're still in a really good spot as they will try to snowball a little bit further because, you know, Fear, they're still trying to fight back.
Something that's really good about the AP Varus build, depending on how he builds it after this item, is the blight stacks go absolutely insane on this build. If you get your ultimate off, it automatically gives you 3 blight stacks, and then you press W and Q because they're rooted, you can't miss, and you hit them, pretty much any champion dies to that. And that includes tanks. Every champion dies to that.
I would say even more so tanks because it's all max health damage that comes out from Blight, which is really good for the composition that Fear have here. 3 frontliners, 3 big tanks that will get bursted down pretty heavily by Gorka with this build. So big fan of the itemization for the moment. We'll just have to see how it kind of continues to evolve.
Are you a Darkmane fan?
I do watch a little bit of Darkbane here and there.
He's got an AP Varus build video.
I have seen that video.
Yeah, it's really good.
Just press the R, the Q, no response. Boom.
I absolutely love his videos. It's crazy like how consistent his quality is on those. He's been doing it for like 8 years now. He's still just so
Still,
good.
shout out
fan.
Darkman. Hey, if you wanna come onto the desk for Unified, we'd love to
Yeah,
have
yeah.
we'd love to
Let's
have
get
you.
on Darkman.
Maybe
Yeah,
maybe
I would
next
love
year,
that.
yeah.
That'd be so
rate
fun.
all the different builds that end up happening.
You know, there are 2 YouTube videos in the world that are the best YouTube videos of all time. The first one is the Tiny Desk concert for Tyler the Creator. The second one is Darkmane's Sea of Thieves video.
Big fan of that one. See if Shochi can see his way out of this one, as he'll have to use the flash to get away from the engage that Flux had here. Taco Gaming still building up a pretty decent chunk of a gold lead here, despite none of the kills really going over. And Shochi, as well as City Witty, becoming a huge menace, going for all the sorts of invades.
Ooh, and look at all this pressure that they have on the bot side as well. It's giving Gorica a ton of time to attack the bot lane turret. Maybe going too aggressive? Let's find out.
Flux is tanky. Is he tanky enough? Surviving for a long time, but Gorica is here as well to just finish off the job with the piercing arrow. Flux goes down. It is now 9 kills. Wait! Another kill, solo kill here for Blaze as well. Another extended 1-for-1 on opposite sides of the map.
I assume we're going to get a replay, but I have a guess as to what happened. I am guessing that Blaze flash ulted him under his own passive turret. Let's find out if I'm right.
It's the game show. Did Smax get it right? There we go.
Oh, he didn't even need to
Did do the ult into the turret though. I'll give you like 80% there. So maybe even 90%.
Maybe he still
Didn't need
flashes.
it.
Maybe I'm still right.
Hey! Hey! A flash and an ultimate was used. Maybe not in the correct order, so to speak, but hey, I'll give you like most of the credit there, I guess.
Grapes, I have really, really, really bad news.
Yeah.
The item analysts in the Twitch chat are going to absolutely implode when they look at which mythic Blaze purchased.
Is it the crown?
Yeah, I think it's probably best. Anyone out there in the chat right now, I think it's probably best if you just close the chat for the next 10 minutes or so. I think it'll save your mental some.
all the academy chat goons are about to
They're gonna
maybe go a little crazy here, as the itemization might not be a factor here in this play. Sketch gets his area ultimate stolen away from him, still sitting at level 6. 13 minutes into the game just shows how far behind he have been put to, again, the early aggression from City Witty.
And this is the kind of experience lead. Actually, hold on one second. Gorica might be in danger.
The solar flare will get flashed away from beautifully timed flash to get away from the Zenith Blade.
Yeah, that was really good from Gorica. Both summoner spells used, but used well. And as I was saying, this kind of experience lead in bottom lane doesn't just happen because you're a better player. It happens because you are able to stay in your lane, stay alive in your lane, and your support is doing a ton of work elsewhere. And that has exactly been the story of this game. Rovex has been ganking all over the place with City Witty, and Gorica has been holding down the fort in that bottom lane. You can see the CS lead is doing pretty well. So Rovex doesn't really have anything to do in that bottom lane. Gorica he's a self-made man in this game.
Yeah, exactly. He's farmed a table here on this Varus. Already has his first Nashor's Tooth completed. With the Sorcerer's Shoes as well. So going for what seems to be a pretty full AP build at this point, which will be very exciting to see. Well, again, kind of take a look at those interactions as we get later on in this game. But right now, Gorica in a really good spot alongside the rest of TG.
Taco Gaming, they're entirely up 4K gold. And again, I have to remind everybody, this was not what anybody predicted would happen. Our entire desk had 2-0 Cincinnati Fear. All of the casters had Cincinnati Fear winning 2-0 or 2-1. Literally nobody, not even Twitter, who's been wrong like all the time. Not even Twitter predicted Taco Gaming, which, you know what, now that I say that out loud, we probably shouldn't have predicted with Twitter, because they predicted Cincinnati Fear to win. We probably should have listened and just gone
Listen
the
to
other
the
way.
opposite of Twitter.
Exactly. Their hit rate
If only
is
we
so
could
low
see-
right now.
If only we could see the prediction from Twitter before we had to submit ours.
Yeah, true.
Give me a bit of feedback for next time around. Be a little bit easier maybe to do our jobs. Who knows?
Yeah, but
We love you,
regardless,
Twitter. Thank you for
it makes
being
this win still super impressive for Taco Gaming. Like, literally nobody thought they were going to win. The form that they were in was not seeming like it could match what Cincinnati Fear was up to. Cincinnati Fear completely swept through their group, only losing a single game to AoE Randoms. And Taco Gaming, they had a really tough go of things, and they even had a team drop out of their group who otherwise may have just knocked them out entirely, and they wouldn't even be here if they stayed in the event. We now know, of course, why the org dropped, but regardless, Taco Gaming, yeah, this is like, they were given a gift that they were here, but now they're using it.
Yeah, utilizing that gift well. Look at the damage coming out for the Blight already here, but Gorka is going to get caught out by the Solar Flare. Dragoon now continuing to chase onto Rovex. He fails the flash, and it will yield 2 dead on the side of Taco Gaming. Don't hold your applause for just a little bit longer, Smacks, because the kills are all tied up at 9.
It's true. Taco Gaming still has a lead. I'm just sad about what I just saw Rovex do, but it's okay. It's all right. We can bounce back from this, is probably what Taco Gaming is saying.
Ambitious.
We'll see if they're right. This is going to be quite a bit of damage on this bottom lane turret. Dragoon
I have the Herald
coming
as well.
fresh off of a dunk. You know, he's got himself some new shoes.
Got the basketball references coming in now. We had baseball earlier today. It's just, I like to talk about a lot of things that aren't League of Legends here.
Hey, don't put it like that. I still like League. I've been talking about League a lot today. Okay.
We have been. It's been a long day for us. Thank you everybody for continuing to tune in. Make sure to stay for the conclusion of this, as well as all of what's going on in Proving Grounds and the like, as we continue to close out this season here in some of the lower leagues here in North America. The future of NA talent. You're seeing it right here, man.
True. By the way, tomorrow's broadcast on this very stream starts the beginning of the last week of Academy for the year.
Yes.
After that, Proving Grounds is going to begin in the week following. So we'll get to see the finality of the Academy standings. Some pretty big players. A lot of shifts going on in terms of the roster moves. If you've been keeping up with Twitter,
Oh yeah,
you've probably seen it.
it's been hard for us to keep up. We've been kind of multitasking a bit here, but
True. I gotta say, I could not have possibly predicted all of that with 100%. Like, there's literally no universe where I get all of that right. That happens today.
no,
yeah.
no.
Anyway, we're back in this situation. Taco Gaming trying to keep on to that lead, trying to keep all of that momentum that they had from the early game afloat, giving over a few of these kills, but this might be the opposite.
Gonna be a good start. Yeah, they're gonna force the stopwatch out of Plux early on. Sketch already popping the lightning rush, but doesn't really have a whole lot of angles back into the fight. Already popping the shield bow as the depth charge goes out. Health bars on Fear have been chunked. Plux forced to flash into the pit, has nowhere to go, but maybe back in. Lawrence picking the Neganar bar up very slowly but surely as the dragon has spawned. Blaze dashing forward, looking for a shuffle, but unable to find anything just yet. Dragoon on the outside looking in, trying to find the resets. Lawrence is mega, but has to flash away. Everybody is still alive here, and the dragon is too.
The Gnar!
Watch the Gnar, he's gonna land it on the 3. Lawrence might have found a game-winning engage. Trickster ends up going down to the likes of Gorica, and it looks like the rest of Taco Gaming are in a good spot to try and continue to lock down this dragon. Blaze and the rest of his team continue to push forward. The dragon does a lot of damage, but nobody is going to go down on TG.
Ooh. See, Lawrence does not have teleport, so if this recall comes through, it is final. See if he can walk back to the base. There are Hextech portals, so he's not as far as he may appear. Objects in the mirror are closer than they seem on a Hextech Rift, as there is still an Azir ultimate for Shochi as well. He's trying to bait people in. The person who died on Fear's side, aka Trickster, is back alive as well, and similarly, he can use the portals to get back in. Drake started up by Cincinnati Fear. Can they secure this one?
She's gonna go in, lend the chains in onto Dragoon, but this Darius is still alive, doesn't get the reset, as it will just be the trade 1-for-1. Trickster still in the pit, looking for the trade. It might be a 50-50 around the Drake, but Trickster gonna get bursted down before they can even take down the objective. Lawrence taking down Plux as well. They'll get the dragon as the smite comes through from City Witty. Taco Gaming still in control.
That fight had 2 Gnar ultimates in it. That was a long exchange there, Grapes, as everyone on Taco Gaming is really, really trying to get everything they possibly can down in these fights. They pick up 4 kills on the entire exchange, 2 of them on Trickster, and they secure themselves up to Soul Point. We get to see the second Drake exchange right now as Dragoon in a bit of a tussle. Shochi finally uses that Azir ultimate, but gets traded. And this is so insane. Here comes the second Gnar ultimate. You ready? There it is.
Too much damage, and Taco Gaming just seem to have all the tools at the ready. Fear doing a decent job at trying to stay alive in this game, but clock is ticking a ticking. 5,000 in favor of TG right now. Hextech Soul Point, and still have a lot of potential to try to break open the base.
Speaking of the base, I'm getting an update that the mid lane turret down there for Cincinnati Fear is on 14 HP. I don't see any blue there.
It's dead,
even in the bottom left, I still don't see any blue there. I think it's hacking.
Just need one more minion to just hit it a couple times. That's all we need. Let's get the wave shoved in here for TG.
Just throw one of those wiggly Varus arrows onto it. That's my favorite thing about this Infernal Varus skin. The arrows are so wiggly. Look at them.
Huh.
See little wiggles?
Learn something new every day. Yeah, they kind of do wiggle. I guess that's not really how physics works. I guess it has a riff. I don't know. Riftmaker as well for Gorica, so really hammering home the AP. But maybe those autos, the wiggly arrows, not necessary for the most part. As we'll be relying for the most part on the spells instead.
As another Azir item comes through, I do again want to remind everybody: please just mute the Twitch chat. People are going to be upset. I'm telling you now. You want to save your mental, okay? Just ignore those guys.
He's gonna keep himself alive and healthy, and I think at this point, with the lead that Taco Gaming have gotten in the early game, kind of maybe all you need to keep yourself alive. Blaze is gonna have to be a really big damage dealer in these fights, especially since Sketch still pretty down in terms of experience, but still starting to claw back into this game a little bit. 2 completed items now onto the Zeri as well as Blaze. And the game's not over just yet. It seems like Taco Gaming might have just, sealed it off at level 1, but Cincinnati Fear, they're holding in.
Taco is playing this really well. Even if it's slowed down a bit, I think they're making the correct decision, which is to keep their lead really strong. They have the Drake scale win condition, and they don't need to accelerate the game further. They're already at about a 5,000 gold lead in this one. They're getting all their items on their carries and everything. So I like the idea. As long as they secure the 4th Drake, or maybe even the 5th Drake, as they're already at a really solid lead, as long as they get that, this should be a victory, especially considering its Hex Tech that is super, super powerful buff.
We're gonna have to keep pushing the aggression here. They're gonna break open another tower, also taking that 14 HP one in the mid lane, but Fear want to go for the response. Engage already coming in from Flux, but he just gets bursted down. Blaze on the backside with a nice shuffle, but it's not enough damage coming out from Fear just yet. It will be this year going down to double kill into Gorica, and City Witty is still full HP on the front side. Dragoon gets 1 reset. Will he have enough? He gets the kill onto City Witty. Dragoon is still alive. Dragoon wants to turn the fight.
Dragoon!
Hitting at full HP. Dragoon smash comes through. Pull that album cover up. A double kill for him. An ace for Cincinnati Fear.
Let's go, Dragoon! He's done it, Grapes! He stays alive against all odds and keeps his team afloat in this game, completely turning it around. Now they move over to the Baron. They've got 3 members still alive, including a Smite. This is going to be the objective secured. I can't believe they managed to do this. The Blaze engage was so beautiful, cutting everyone off and bringing everyone into the Darius's clutches. This is a huge, huge swing for Cincinnati Fear. They take away the Baron. They just need to make sure they don't lose the Hextech Soul, or else it's all for nothing.
One thing, they have to use the portals to get the resets off, and do the whole damn thing again. 7 seconds until the objective spawns. Taco Gaming with brilliant positioning around the pick. Trickster must run in there if they want to secure the steal, but the damage is already coming out. Sketch doing a huge amount of damage with the laser, and watch Dragoon coming in on the flank. Has the ulti available and is going to look for the reset. The Dragon is secured. That is Hextech Soul over to Taco Gaming, but look at them. They're all grouped up into the hands of Dragoon. 3-man apprehend. The Darius doesn't die. Finally, Shochi onto the backside will shut down Dragoon. And there might be enough damage here now. Pluck trying his best on the backside to stay alive. Trickster being a nuisance in the back as well. And Sketch and Blaze have to continue to do the damage. Shochi in on the front line, looking for the trade. Finally, will go down to the hands of Blaze, and Fear have to continue the chase. Lawrence and Gorica are running for their lives, and City Witty is making sure nobody has any of it.
Oh no, only one of them recalled. This might be everyone else dying. Sketch,
City Witty
he's at 1 HP.
going forward. Lawrence, he's still alive. Sketch is still trying to survive, and finally will go down. Sketch using the pillar to get a bit of a laser, but it is all for naught. The boulder comes through. Lawrence gets the shutdown, and Fear finally win the fight.
Oh man, the play before was so good from Cincinnati Fear. The team fight was a miracle that they found in the bottom jungle quadrant. It's just that they didn't have enough dragons and they didn't do anything to stop the fourth one from coming through. Can they do anything on this player, or are they just going to lose another structure?
Shochi back in the base. It is a 3v1. Dragoon gets one shot. He's down already. Now 3 members still pushing in onto the inhibitor. Only Flux remains. Blaze and Sketch are respawning soon, so it looks like Taco Gaming will just take their reward of the bottom lane inhibitor and not end the game just yet.
Oh man, no teleport from Shochi means the game is still going to go on alongside the death timers being short. Cincinnati Fear, they're showing us the team fight power, but they just can't quite outdo the Hextech Soul as we watch this again. Dragoon, he's gifted the flank by the Portal Gaming alongside Plux as well. It's really cool that they're able to do this one, but coming through all of this front line is just so difficult to do, and they're slowed down. They're dealt so much damage by the Hextech. Oh man, I think if there were no dragons at all, this maybe would have been a Cincinnati Fear team fight wipe. They just couldn't quite manage it.
Look at that. Just the arrow. Just getting so much extra damage in onto Plux, and only the one back coming out was that crucial game deciding moment.
They even have the desync there too. They were considering going for recalls, and Plux actually does complete his, leaving the entire rest of his team on an island. Maybe if they were all going to recall, it would have worked, but yeah, they do not fight together. They do not die together. A lot of them do die, but it's just, you don't get that camaraderie, you know?
Yeah, the camaraderie, something that Taco Gaming has always been pushing. Of course, Taco general manager putting out really solid rosters for players that didn't have opportunities in other areas, and looking to try to earn their spot against another team that has had a lot of really good moments so far. And getting a spot in the semifinals for TG will be huge for a multitude of reasons, but they have to close this game out first. City Witty, the one who started this engage, started the early game for this team, is hammering home onto this wave, looking to break open this top tier 2.
Nobody's responding to that one quite yet. You have to send somebody, or else you're going to start losing Nexus turrets. There are so many super minions in that lane, but as soon as you send someone to respond to that, you're vulnerable elsewhere because of these super minions, and because you sent your Azir down. It's the only real one that can clear out these minions. Maybe Dragoon and Plux is all you need when it comes to clearing out the minions in the top lane. You can save this turret. Dragoon is very threatening.
Landing the one little knock back here onto City Witty. Watch Gorica though, already has a chain of corruption landing. Look at the damage from the Blight! Dragoon goes down, and that just might be it. Trickster has to run for the hills, still remaining alive thanks to the heal from Sketch. It was a 4v5, but Dragoon has gone down.
I'm telling you, man, the AP Varus one-shot is absolutely there. As Taco Gaming, they might have gone too far.
Here have to go for the collapse. No, look at the damage. Sketch goes down. Lawrence picks up the kill. Blaze with a nice shuffle, but it is not enough. The rest of Taco Gaming are closing in on the final kills, on the final fight in the quarterfinals. And analysts be damned, predictions be damned. Dragoon's gonna say damn, because Taco Gaming are headed to the semifinals.
Let's go, Taco Gaming! The Taco Tuesday blessing continues on as City Witty, he's dancing on him. Look at him. That man just stopped you from reverse sweeping and stopped you from the semifinals with the whole team behind him. Taco Gaming has
going for
done
one
it.
more.
They're even diving the turret. Get him, boys.
Still alive. Okay. They're just gonna. they're just gonna end the game. Okay. My heart could not have taken it if there was like a random pentakill at the end of the game from Dragoon. We had to keep going, but. Congratulations to Taco Gaming, man. What a series, what a day of games that we had here on the Academy stream.
Caster curses are real. This is all the evidence that you need. The whole desk, the whole caster pan. Can we pull up the caster predictions again?
We don't have to do
We
that.
do it just one more time. One more time for the one more time. There we go. Look at that. That's whole bar of purple. No tacos at all. And yet, they've done it.
Maryville also lost, so not a good day
That's true.
for us here on the broadcast team.
Hey,
Maybe good for you,
I got
Snacks. Yeah,
a 3 out of 4.
you and
I
Rudy
don't know
are
what you're talking
chilling.
about.
You guys did pretty good, but for everybody else, maybe I only got one series right today. What a display of how competitive this Proving Grounds playoffs really has been so far. And for Taco Gaming, what a turnaround it has been.
Yay!
Going all the way from nearly getting knocked out by Noorg in the first round to being here in the semifinals for the first time.
I love it. Absolutely love it. I believe with that one, Taco Gaming has locked themselves into top 6. Again, I'm not smart enough to read the Foldy sheet, so I don't entirely know.
I believe you are correct. It is 100 Thieves next, AoE, Fear, Team Pending, Taco Gaming, and spreadsheet
GT?
has weird things on it.
Ginger Turmeric?
Yes, and AoE GT. Those are the 6 teams that have been locked in here. But take a look at the gold graph here. This game, Taco Gaming with a brilliant set of plays here, and it all comes down to City Witty in the jungle. He can play late game, he can play early game, and he could basically win in any way possible.
City Witty does it again. I am still so astounded at how much he was able to get done in the first 5 minutes of the game. He's already 3-0-3 on Trundle in 5 minutes in a competitive game, in a life or death game. What? I cannot believe it. City Witty is just way too good. I cannot wait to see him play against the Academy teams in Proving Grounds. Congratulations on making it to the top 6. Can't wait to see them play on Monday as well against AoE Esports. That's going to be a great series to tune into.
Yeah, 2 teams that are really battling towards the top of Amateur, alongside, probably like 100 Thieves next as well, as they have been looking pretty good in their own right. Winning to send themselves into the finals will be a really exciting matchup. Make sure you tune in on Monday. But that's all that we have here on the Caster Desk Snacks. Thank you so much for covering these games with us. It was a bit of a crazy day, but I'm ready to pack it in and wrap things up for the moment. Gonna take a quick break. When we return, Hawk's gonna be talking with Blaze about Cincinnati Fear's future.
And welcome to the interview room, where I, of course, am joined by the mid laner of Cincinnati Fear, Blaze. I know it was a bit of a tough series. You guys fought extremely hard, but I think, there's still a lot of things to take away from this series and from this season as a whole for Cincinnati Fear. So I'm curious, Blaze, if you have anything to sort of mention about, anything to say about your journey on Cincinnati Fear this summer.
So far it's been a great ride. Of course, I've talked about it in a bunch of interviews. The staff treat us well, the org management treats us well, the players treat each other well. And I think last tournament it showed, we scaled into the tournament. We're doing pretty well. This OQ, we almost 5-0'd the OQs.
Yeah.
But a slight hiccup in the road today. Scrims recently haven't been the greatest, so because of events out of game. So it happens. We're all looking towards PG.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like that's a very good outlook. You can't win them all, right? But you do still have that Proving Grounds coming up, as you just mentioned. And I'm sort of interested as sort of looking at the future. Where do you guys have your sights set in terms of your goals and your expectations?
Well, everyone's goal is to obviously we want to all win PG. That's a obvious one, but we just want to prove to ourselves and to everyone out there, the orgs, the fans, whatever, that we do have what it takes to take on Academy teams, and we do deserve a shot in this upcoming season, this off season. And yeah, we just want to prove to ourselves and everyone else.
Yeah, absolutely. It isn't called the Proving Grounds for nothing, right? And I'm sure you guys will be able to do that. But the last question I have for you really is about you personally. You know, I feel like a lot of people that have been following the scene would say that your level of play throughout the entire 2022 season really elevated, and you became such an instrumental part of your team's success. And I'm just curious what it sort of means to you, what you feel your progression as a player has been.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with everyone that I entering spring, I was pretty mediocre, right? I was, just not the greatest that I could be. And
Mhm.
throughout the splits, each split I learned something new. Each split I worked with different people, and eventually, I guess I just like put my foot down and started working on it, working on my own problems instead of just trying to be better. Have to single everything out. And I think that helped me a lot. I think I've grown a lot as a player, and I think even going into PG, I'm gonna keep getting better.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome to hear. You really have been a player that it feels like you've come into your own, and it's amazing to hear that you've sort of seen that growth for yourself. Absolutely deserved the success you've had so far this year. Absolutely deserved your top 6 seeding going into Proving Grounds. So despite the result today, congratulations and best of luck in the future, Blaze.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. We're going to go to a quick break, but when we return, we will be back with the winner's interview from one of the members of Taco Gaming. Don't go anywhere. And we're back with one more interview. It is, of course, the winner's interview with Shochi. Before I ask you the normal, like, how you feeling after that win kind of thing, I have a graphic that I need to pull up, and I'm a little hesitant. I have no comment. I have no comment on this personally.
I mean, it's
I'm
fine.
curious.
Yeah, no hard feelings towards you, Hawk. But this is quite the interesting graphic to look at once you see the results of today's series. But yeah, no hard feelings. I get it. It's Show being the underdog. So yeah.
I mean, maybe a little fun to prove everybody wrong too.
Exactly.
Yeah. Grape shouted out your tweet before the start of the series. The LOL period.
Appreciate that. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it really was a really hard fought series. The second series of the day to go 3 games, and you guys were against one of the pre-tournament favorites and really came out to play. So I guess my first question for you, Shochi, is just when you were looking at your game plan coming into Cincinnati Fear, I know, I talked to Rovex last week after the match against Large, and he said that you guys weren't really happy with your performance. So how, coming into this week, did you guys sort of reset yourselves and put your sights on getting the win?
Right. So during our game with Large, we were still kind of trying to find our read on the meta and like experimenting with a bunch of different drafts. But coming into our match against Cincinnati Fear, we kind of just honed in on like our style and what drafts we really prefer, and like what we think are the strongest champs on this patch. And we've just been practicing nonstop, and we've felt like way more confident just having that preparation going into today's match. And I mean, the results speak for themselves pretty much.
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely seems like you guys had a solid game plan, and I think in many ways attacking them early, and it seemed to work out pretty well. But speaking of attacking a team early, now next week you guys are slated to go up against Area of Effect in the semifinals, a team that is also very down to scrap. I think it's fair to say. Any expectations for that series?
Playing against my former jungler, Wentworth Miller, Winston Harold, Winnie, as he goes by now. It's gonna be nice taking him down, I think it's gonna be a good match for sure. That's all I can really say. It's gonna be entertaining at the very least, yeah.
Oh yeah, it definitely will be. The old mid jungle 2v2 scoring off against each other. But with this win, you and the rest of Taco Gaming have locked top 6 in terms of seeding at the main Proving Grounds tournament, which means you have dodged out on the what do they call it? Like the play-in,
the gulag, the
gulag, right? Yeah. So where are you guys sort of setting your sights in terms of not just the rest of this tournament, but the rest of the season?
So yeah, obviously not being in the gulag's pretty good. We get double elimination for PG. It's a pretty big confidence booster taking the match today. And I think as long as we continue our rate of improvement, we can probably take down an academy team in PG. So that's where our sights are right now.
Yeah, for sure. Just like last time, right? You on AoE took down TSM Academy, I believe, and Taco Gaming took down EG. So I feel like that's a best of both worlds, perhaps.
Right. Yeah. We're kind of entering a different universe here with me on Taco, but I feel like it's the best universe possible. I love my team. I love Taco Gaming.
Yeah. You love to hear it. You love to hear it. Well, thank you so much, Shochi. Congratulations again on the win. I know it was very, very hard fought, but extremely entertaining for the rest of us. And have a great rest of your night.
Thank you, Hawk. You too.
All right, and we're gonna hop back over now to the analyst desk. There's a lot to break down. There's a lot that happened today, I think it's fair to say. And we need to address the elephant in the room, I think, one more time, just in case we haven't beaten this horse enough. We were all very, very wrong, and Taco Gaming ended up pulling out the win. Veteran, how did they do it?
I wasn't wrong. The game was wrong. All right. We even saw many points that they could easily. I mean, they did actually manage to get a good composition here that they could have won with. Double Juggernauts plus Leona was pretty good for Sketch to try to carry with, but we only really saw one fight where Sketch was able to do the damage. Otherwise, Sketch had to do the damage for a long time, didn't he? Turned out to be a deceptively tanky composition on the side of TG, and ultimately they were able to get the win there. They were also able to get every single Drake, so those contests didn't really go the right way for Fear one way or the other. Overall, TG just ended up being the better players here straight up, and that's why they ended up deserving of the win.
Yeah, I mean, they had an early game plan, right? Or a game plan, I should say, and that was to attack early. We saw in all 3 games, it worked in 2 of them exceptionally well. And as you said, you know, Sketch has so frequently been this huge carry for Cincinnati Fear, but he was shut out of the laning phase basically entirely in this game 3, thanks to plays sort of like this first replay that we have. And Lux, maybe you can speak to sort of how this allowed Taco to really just get like firm control of the game.
Yeah, so in this replay here, I think we're coming up in, and it's going to be a Trundle and Silas skirmish, and waiting here for a minute for the replay. It takes so long.
We're getting that one underway. Sometimes it takes a moment.
You'll have to do it or it won't happen.
Oh.
All right. Well, maybe we can
There
just.
you go.
There we go. Yeah, we got the replay.
See?
So the Nautilus is
join
starting the fight. Kind of, the Leona gets a little bit caught here and goes down pretty fast. But Zeri is really not doing damage. These tanky characters are just not taking any damage. The Nautilus, the Trundle, and the Silas are all, you know, big guys. The Azir comes in a little too late, and I feel like the synergy on, you know, timings to go in was a little off there. Maybe Azir arrived a little late, but yeah, overall, I kind of feel like Veteran said, the Zeri was not doing too much damage. Even in the later parts of the game, it's just too hard to get through that front line that that Taco had.
I feel like it's hard. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, especially in the initial parts of the game, like on those kinds of spikes on level 2, on level 3, this is when melee champions are actually very strong into any range champ that all they have is their initial 400 gold starting item. Because if they're able to close the gap, you think about it, melee champions should be able to outdamage you, and because they had control of that red side brush, they were able to close the gap on Sketch. Sketch needs items before he's able to do anything there, so they were always going to end up winning that. That was just a poor fight choice from Fear. Taco Gaming, they had the better judgment.
Yeah, and what I was going to say is I feel like it's hard to do any damage if you're Sketch when you're dead twice before like 5 minutes and you miss like 8 waves. I think he had like 10 CS at 6 or something like that, which for those that maybe are unaware, not exactly the position that you want to be in the game as an ADC, especially an ADC like Zeri that is maybe a little bit lower on the damage side as well. So it definitely made Cincinnati Fear's life difficult. However, they did show flashes of brilliance, and we chose this replay as our second replay because it, again, illustrates how hard fought this series was, Veteran.
Yeah, this was actually one where I thought Sketch really had it. Currently, all the CC's coming out, but they can't get on top of Sketch. Sketch has been free pinning them out the whole time. Pat, 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 pat. He's completely untouched. It takes a long time for him to get the kills, but TG are just so distracted by this double juggernaut of Darius, of Udyr. Even when they throw the Azir ult out at Sketch, they're still funneled in towards those 2 champions, and so long as those 2 guys play disruption for as long as possible, Sketch is going to be able to get the damage out on basically any AD carry. That was a really good example of how the composition could work in theory in practice, there were very few times they were able to enter the fight on those kinds of terms.
Yeah, and it really is the only time that they were able to enter the fight. You know, in the subsequent fight after Around the Dragon Soul, it just Sketch wasn't able to do the hit for as long as he needed to, and Taka was able to burn through the front line. So they ended up being able to take it. But as we sort of wind down from the series now, Lux, I'll go to you. Any final thoughts from the games that we just saw?
Honestly, all the games today were really exciting, really competitive. No farm fest, which was very fun to watch, very entertaining, and all the teams played really well today. No team rolled over and died. You know, it was all really fun games to watch, and everyone played really well.
Yeah, for sure. And Veteran?
Yep, I mean, 6-game series today. Both series went the full distance. I loved seeing it. There was no one really that you could point at today and be like, today was not your day. You just were not performing, and that's the reason they went to it. Everyone was really giving it their all. And we were completely wrong the whole day as a result of it. So there you go. Keep it up. I love days like this. Keep proving us wrong.
Yeah, the teams definitely made me late for my dinner today, but I think it was worth it considering that these were very, very exciting games for sure. But we're going to, one more time, take a look at all of our failures with the predictions here, starting with the casters first. We can flame them and then come to the desk. It was a bad day for a lot of people here, as nobody got an 100% with Fear falling, and Maryville dropping as well. Definitely an upset. Grapes only getting the 100 Thieves series right, unfortunately. It's okay. We still love you, buddy. But, you know, on the desk, we didn't do much better. I managed to get the AoE series, but unfortunately, we were a little all over the place. We had a lot of ideas, and they didn't really come to fruition. But
in my defense, I did cover myself by saying
you did.
I'm new, and I didn't know that much about the previous history of the teams. So I'm going to blame it on you guys.
I was wrong. I got paid for it, and I'll do it again. All right? I'll do it again. I'll come back for more. All right?
I was right once, so I'm going to take that.
You said 2-0, so you were
I did say 2-0. I did say 2-0.
Right.
I did say 2-0, but we also do have the bracket, of course, updated here. Oh no, we don't need to hyper. We don't need to. Let's look at the playoff bracket. That's way better. That's way better. We can see what teams have indeed advanced, what the matchups will be next Monday here on the Academy stream, starting at 3 p.m. Pacific. AoE Sports and Taco Gaming and 100 Thieves next. AoE Ginger Turmeric. These series are going to be super, super good. You're not going to want to miss them. And the finals will be the day after. So it's a quick turnaround. Proving Grounds, the Proving Grounds Circuit qualifiers are coming to a close, and the main tournament is rapidly upon us. But guys, we've reached the end of the day. We did it 6 games later. We have done it. Veteran, thank you so much for being such a fantastic analyst, and Lux for being our wonderful guest the entire time. It was an amazing ride. I hope we were able to give you a solid introduction to the Proving Ground space.
Yeah, it was great. It was lots of fun. Games were great. You guys were great. Everything was amazing. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for being on. Be sure subscribe or follow or whatever Lux on Twitch.
Subscribe for sure.
Yeah. Drop that nice sub. Maybe like a Prime Gaming or something. I don't know. Whatever all the kids are using to sub these days. But be sure to do that if you like seeing her on the stream. But we also want to thank our sponsors, for without them, we would not be able to do what you do. Atlantic, HyperX, and BenQ Zowie. Thank you very much. And thank you to every single one of you out there in the chat for joining us on this journey. I think it's fair to say today, it was definitely a long slate of games, but we hope you enjoyed. From all of us here at Unified, I've been Hawk. Stay safe and have a great night.